guys, Becky here with Design Bundles, and I'm super excited to have you join me today because we have a really great sublimation video. Now today, we have a brand new Sawgrass sublimation printer. We're going to unbox it, get it set up, and perform our very first print with it today. All right guys, so are we ready to get started? Now this is my printer in the box. Literally, this is just how it was shipped to me. And then I have a few goodies. Now, the vendor that I ordered from does include a few blanks for me to practice on, so that's super exciting. And that's pretty normal. It also includes some paper. So make sure whenever you're purchasing, check and see what all comes with your printer. All right. Now, I always urge everybody to shop around because Sawgrass is a very reputable name. They have a lot of vendors, and you may find sales or deals such as coming with blanks. I also found the opportunity for just a few extra dollars to include a full set of ink, meaning that it's not the starter ink, but it is a full set of ink cartridges. So that definitely was worthwhile for me. But for now, let's go ahead and I'm going to fast forward through this part for you. I'm going to save you a little bit of the boring part, but I'm going to get this bad boy opened up and move all the packaging out of the way for you, okay? Okay, so just a little bit of a struggle. I mean, as with any printer or any machinery of this size, it has a little bit of weight to it, so don't be afraid to ask for help if you need a little muscle behind getting it out of the box, okay? Now, I did find these are some instructions and safety information, and then also the cords that I will need. So cord-wise, what I'm going to look for is a power cord, and then this should also be a USB printer cord. There we go. All right. Now, I'll be honest with you, guys, I am right exactly where you're at. I have not worked with a Sawgrass printer before directly, and we are starting from square one. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and remove the blue tape. Now it is important while I'm doing this, I want to inspect my printer. That was also important whenever you get your box. Make sure that you document any physical damage that may have occurred during shipping. All of that's going to be very important if you ever have to, contact the vendor and let them know if the printer's been damaged, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and remove all the blue tape, and I am going to go ahead and plug it in. And then again, we're going to do the fast forward thing so I don't bore you guys to death, but then we will reconvene and talk more about actually setting up the printer, okay? Okay, so we have the power on. All right, it's telling me to please wait. All right, it's not uncommon when you start a new printer that it's going to take a few minutes to go through the startup process. Okay, now the power plug-in is right here. If you're looking at the printer, it's on the left-hand side. And I did locate, of course, a paper tray at the bottom. And then also this is where your ink cartridges are going to go. And we'll talk more about this after a while, okay? Now, let's walk through all the steps. It says set the ink correctly, black, cyan, magenta, yellow. All right, so we can take care of this right now. Now, remember, the ink cartridges were not in the box with the printer. They were packaged separately from me, so keep an eye out for that. And we have all of our colors are clearly labeled on the box. Now, a lot of people will keep their boxes, and I'll tell you why, because your ink does have an expiration date. All right, so you can also document these somewhere. If you don't want to keep the boxes, it's completely up to you, but it is very worthwhile to make sure that you keep track of that date so you know if you don't use the ink before that date that it's going to expire, okay? So the first one that I need is black. So let's start with black first. So we're going to remove it from the package. It's in a nice sealed bag. And sometimes they come with a little tape to remove. I don't see anything like that. So what we're going to do is so here's my expiration date too on the cartridge itself. But I think I read somewhere that this it can rub off over time. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've just heard a lot of people keep their boxes, okay? So I'm going to insert, let me see. If you forget what order or if you remove them later on, down here on the door of the printer, it also gives you the order for the cartridges, okay? So we're just gonna slide these in one by one. So I'm gonna go a little faster through this part, but literally guys, I'm going through the same exact thing. I'm just gonna open them up. I'm gonna slice open the bag and insert them one by one in order. Now, the only thing that surprises me, guys, is actually all of these ink cartridges have different expiration dates. So if you're writing them down, make sure you look at each one individually, okay? So let's close that up. I'm going to hit OK. So it is making a little bit of noise. I assume that it is going through the setup process just like we talked about. So while it's doing that, I'm going to move this stuff out of the area and then we'll take a look at the next step. All right, guys, so guess what? That took, well, I did not time it, let me say that. But according to the printer, it told me that the process would take about 7 minutes. So I just walked away, went and did a few other tasks. And when I came back, it says it is completely ready. Now, of course, it didn't beep at me. It didn't, make any strange alarms. I didn't leave it for days at a time, but I just, where I'm going with this is to say that all I did was put in the ink cartridges. Well, I turned it on, put in the ink cartridges and let it do its thing. And now it says it is completely ready to go. So the next thing that we're going to do is to head on over to the Sawgrass website and take a look at downloading and using Sawgrass Creative Studio, okay? Now, I will just say we don't have to use Creative Studio, but without giving too much away, that is what is going to help set us up for testing and learning how to print. And then we can also take a look at printing from other types of software, maybe in some follow-up videos, okay? But lots of really great things to know about Creative Studio, so let's head on over. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and talk about the website. We are at sawgrassinc.com. It is not, let's notate, it is not sawgrass.com, okay? Two completely separate websites, sawgrassinc.com. Now, I also want to say that most Sawgrass distributors, most vendors that you purchase your printer from will also provide you support in getting set up, okay? So again, just another thing to check into when you're shopping around is to see, what type of support they offer, because that can be very important if you're new to sublimation. Now, this also says here in this banner, you can schedule a call to help setting up your new Sawgrass printer. All right. Very, very useful, especially if you're not tech savvy, if this isn't really in your wheelhouse, that's okay. Nobody's judging you for that. And there's nothing wrong with setting yourself up for success right off the bat. Now, I'm going to go ahead and we can go to create account or sign in. I'm going to go ahead and click on Creative Studio and it will prompt me to sign in. So I can just choose sign in from here. Now from here, it's really a pretty straightforward setup, I feel like. Now it'll tell you that, if you want to sign up for their premium membership, then you're going to gain access to, designs and upgrades and those sorts of things. That's not what I'm looking for today because of course you guys know, I love getting my design from Design Bundles. I have the Plus membership. I get a lot of great stuff seemingly for free. I get my commercial usage rights, those sorts of things. So I'm just going to click on Start Creating. Now, here's where I want to pause because I'm not trying to say anything negative about Creative Studio at all. Okay, I'm at a pretty beginner level. Although I have experience in other software, and the closest thing I can compare this to is if you're used to working with something like Cricut Design Space. All right. There are, or even if you're a Glowforge user, okay, this reminds me a lot of their software as well. It is fairly limited in the things that you can do. All right. You're going to be able to upload designs, print designs, make minor modifications, but this is going to be pretty limited. Now, if this is where you're at in your sublimation journey, again, that is a-okay. There's nothing wrong with printing from Creative Studio. If you are already experienced with other types of software, then don't be afraid to go ahead and venture out into using those, because I feel like it would be a more fulfilling journey for you, because you can print from other software with your Sawgrass printer. Now we are going to jump down to My Galleries. That's where we're going to be able to upload our own images. This is going to be our PNG, JPEG, or SVG. Okay, very important, because those are images that if you're already a crafter, if you have a cutting machine or anything like that, you are already going to be familiar with these types and probably have a lot of these types of images to use. So we're just going to go to Upload Image, choose Upload as an option. In my Downloads folder, I can then choose my PNG file. Now, let's go ahead and rename it, because I just feel like from experience that has helped me in the past. And we will just say caffeine, chaos, and cuss words. And hit save. All right, so from here, now you see that that has been added into our gallery, okay? And I can click on it, and it will throw that over here into my my design area. All right, now I'm going to leave that there. And the very next one, all right, this I feel like is one of the most important things for you to kind of pay attention to. I want to set up my canvas to match the size of the paper that I'm printing on. I'm going to print on a letter size piece of paper and make sure it is set to inches. So 8.5 by 11. Okay. And the reason that I say to go ahead and do that is, whenever you are setting up a design to print, I feel like it's just very important that what you're looking at is going to match what's going to be coming out of your printer. Now, maybe I'm wrong for feeling that way, but again, just kind of one of those tried and true methods of what has worked for me in the past. All right. Now, over here on the right-hand side, we're going to go ahead and just skip down to the appearance section and talk about a few things there. Now you have a duplicate, flip, crop, tiling, forwards, backwards, alignment, all that sort of thing, scale, rotate. All right, all of those I'm sure will be very important in the next tutorial that you're going to watch about Creative Studio. But for now, all I want to worry about is sizing it. That was one thing that I was disappointed to learn, that I could not just type in the dimensions that I wanted. All right, I'm not quite sure why that is, but I'm just going to say for an adult large t-shirt, okay, I usually would make this 11 inches wide. Now, because I have the SG500, that is going to be a limitation that I have unless I want to split this design. I am limited to up to a legal size sheet of paper. All right, so we're just going to make it kind of as large as we can. Let's see, I cannot go over 8.5 inches wide. There we go. Now, here's another experiment I'm going to try. We are going to flip this, okay? Because that's what I'm used to doing. But I will be interested to see if there's a setting in my Sawgrass that is going to automatically mirror or flip my images for me. So let's go ahead and head on over there. My whole purpose for coming in here was because whenever I go to print, I did notice it said, hey, you have not installed Sawgrass Print Manager yet. So I'm going to go ahead and click here to download. And download for Windows. So let's let that download, and then we will be able to continue with the setup process. All right, our download is complete, so let's launch that exe. We will choose yes. So it says the setup is loading. So let's go ahead and talk about, there are some advantages, guys, to using the Creative Studio. I'm just going to go through this. Let's see. Virtual printer, desktop shortcut, run on the system start. Let's go ahead and click install. While this is doing this,
so Creative Studio is the native software. So, whereas I'm always talking about sublimation and I print from Silhouette Studio, and guys, the downfall is that Silhouette Studio does not use any type of ink color profiles or anything like that. Now, that is more so speaking back to using my Epson for sublimation. I know that it uses, some inks use color profiles, but where I'm going with this is that using printing from Creative Studio and using this print manager are going to be what is best for getting accurate colors. And, it's kind of like the play nice with your printer, right? There's also an important thing to notate that you do have the possibility to use third-party inks with your Sawgrass printer. Now, while your printer is under warranty, I don't suggest it. And also, it's important to note that, while I guess I have not experimented with it personally myself or looked into it in the, very recent past, but there was recently in the past couple years a change to where if you installed third-party ink cartridges in your Sawgrass printer and you attempted to print from Creative Studio, then you would receive a watermark on your print. Okay, that was very frustrating for some people. It was real big in the Facebook groups. So just something to keep in mind, because that is likely to still be true. At a minimum, I would research that before you ever decide to use any type of third-party ink. A lot of people will never do it. Some people like the cost savings. It's completely up to you. In the big scheme of things, although it hurts my feelings to have to buy replacement ink, especially when you see the price tag on Sawgrass replacement ink, the fact of the matter is that the cost of the sublimation ink is pennies on the dollar compared to the cost of your sublimation substrates. So, just something to keep in mind. So I am going to attempt to sign in. There we go. I just used the same information from when I set up my Creative Studio account. So I'm going to select a printer. I have an SG500. And my ink, I do have, now the Sublijet is your just standard sublimation ink. The Chromablast is a different ink. We do have a video on Chromablast on our YouTube channel, so check it out. And then Caesar Easy Subli ink is also an option. But I'm going to choose the Sublijet, and I would choose next. Let's go ahead and let's see, it's wanting to install the print driver. Let's go and follow the prompts to take care of that. Now guys, I'm blowing through a lot of these prompts that are coming up from the system, but remember, always make sure you know what you are installing on your computer, okay? I'm kind of willy-nilly, make sure you have an antivirus software running, even though this is from a trusted source, it just never hurts, better safe than sorry, right? Okay. So we're going to hit next. Now my connection method, I am going to choose Wi-Fi. I really like that all of my printers that I currently use now, they're all wireless, and I want to keep that theme going. So it says power on your printer, connect to Wi-Fi, and add a printer. Okay, so let's see. Let's click how to enable. All right, so it looks like this is going to happen on the printer itself. All right, so let's go ahead and we can take a look and see what is going on over there, okay? All right, guys, so welcome back to your printer view, right? I'm going to try to zoom in on this for you, but remember that all of these steps are also going to be included when you're setting up your print manager. So if you have any questions about what I'm doing here, make sure you walk through those steps using the print manager setup, and I promise you won't have any problems at all, okay? So we are going to go to menu, and we're going to scroll down to system settings and interface settings, and we're going to choose network. Scroll all the way down to you see LAN type and choose wireless, okay? Now from here, let's see, let's escape. And then that's going to take you back to one menu and choose the wireless LAN. and then choose wireless LAN easy setup. And then again, the SSID auto search. Okay, so this is going to search for the network that we have here. And it pops up. I can hit OK, and then it's going to ask for the password. So I'm going to choose this button for enter, and then I'm going to use my little directional arrows to type it in. If you need to toggle between letters and numbers, there's a button for that. And there's also a delete button. And then there is an accept button. So after putting in your password, that should allow you access to the network. And we have a Wi-Fi button starting to blink over here, okay? So it says connection succeeded. And I'm just going to choose exit. And we can escape out to go all the way back to the main screen. So let's go back over to the software and finish the setup process there. All right, so now that we're back, let's go ahead and choose Add Printer. Since our printer is on the network, we should be able to find it quite easily. But we'll see, fingers crossed. All right, you do have to accept the agreement. We're going to add a new printer. And let's see, there we go. Connect the top one over the wireless LAN. And we're going to search for printers automatically. All right, so we have what we needed here. Searching for network printers. There we go. We have one SG500. All right, so it is checked to be a default printer. It's not checked to be a shared printer. I don't know enough about this print driver to say whether you should or should not share it, but we are going to leave this. Now, if you want to set up a custom printer name, you can do that here. I'm going to leave it. We'll hit continue. And we are installing the print drivers. So let me also say, I know that I walked you through the software because, eventually it led me to installing the print manager. But you can do this without bumbling through the software first, okay? You don't have to mimic that. All right, so it launched our properties menu, okay? Let's see what we got going on here. Yep, so it says tray 1 will be letter. That's true. That's what I have is letter size paper. And we'll just choose OK. And let's see. You must restart your computer to use the new print driver. Do you want to restart your computer now? So I guess we're going to take a pause in the tutorial. I'm just kidding. You guys won't notice the difference. But we will be right back. Let me finish the restart. And then we should be ready to print. All right, guys, so I am back, and whenever I restarted my computer, it did pop up. This was one of the things that popped up upon restart, is it wants me to select my ink. So let's just go ahead and select the SubleJet again and hit save. And now let's go ahead and try to print again. Oh, well, it was ahead of me there. Okay, congratulations. You've installed your Sawgrass Print Manager. So features, it's going to walk me through. Here's what I was talking about with, playing nice with your printer. It's going to have the built-in color management, okay? The integration means that it really works very seamlessly with your Sawgrass printer. You have a smart folder, which is for quick printing. Custom print job, okay. Printer maintenance functions, okay, now obviously that's very important. And we're back to color management. So, ready for the next step? Why, yes, we are. Let's go ahead and talk about printing. So, I'm going to inches. We have 8.5 by 11. Create. And now in our galleries, our image should still be there. There we go. Just make it a little larger. And like I said, we're going to flip it. We'll call it experimentation time and print. All right, now it has recognized my Sawgrass SG500. I'm going to print from tray 1. It's a letter size. Here we go. So there's the mirror or don't mirror. Okay, so let's hit cancel. I take it back. Let's unflip this. And we are going to allow the printer to mirror it for us. Now, material settings. So you can choose what you're going to sublimate on, Okay. And the printer software is very intuitive to know what type of print quality is going to be best for the material that you are going to press this on. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to say polyester. And then for paper, you can choose different types of paper. I'm just going to stick with, let's just leave it TruePix Classic. All right. Now, I don't believe that's the name of the paper that I have, but until we know more about that, we're just going to leave it alone, leave it as the default. Print quality, we'll say high, photographic, color palette disabled. All right, so that looks good to me. For the most part, we're leaving everything at the default and we are just going to hit print. Now, I do need to add some paper to my printer. So I'm going to walk back over there and you guys can join me to watch our very first print come out of our brand new Sawgrass SG500. All right, guys, so I did have a few more things pop up. This is going to be to update the firmware. It says that our current system firmware is 1.2 and the new system version is 3.2. So let's go ahead and update that, okay? Now, there shouldn't be anything that we have to do other than just to allow this to run, but it does say it can take up to 10 minutes, okay? So just try to be patient and we will see how it goes. Now, I will say that this is pretty common because, so the firmware is going to be like the software that's on your printer, all right? So in order for your computer and Creative Studio to effectively communicate with your printer, they kind of need to be on the same page. So don't worry about it. This is not something that indicates a problem, just something that a lot of times needs to be done. We've done the same with our Epson printers, and we've done the same with, even our Cricut mug press. We had to plug that in and check the firmware. So just give it a few minutes and we'll check back on it. So it says click finish once your printer returns to the ready state. That did indeed happen. It only took a few minutes. It wasn't nearly the 10 minutes that it said it can take up to. So we'll just click finish. So I did check my printer queue for the document after I updated the firmware. It does not show that it is there. So let's go ahead and try to print again. So just be prepared for that. Let's see, same thing. So instead of metal, we just changed it to polyester, but we left everything else the same. So let's try to print one more time. All right, it says it has been successfully queued. So after queuing, the print manager does pop up. Let's see, Sawgrass, polyester, high quality. So everything else looks good. Still have the mirror checked, and we're going to hit print. So that's going to be a 2-part printing step. All right, just something to remember. That way you don't run over to the printer waiting for it to start printing and it doesn't yet. So just remember you have to click print in Creative Studio and then print again for the print manager. All right, so I ran right on over here and I received paper with my little starter packet. Okay, so I'm gonna pull out my pack of paper and I just need to load some in the tray. All right, so let's talk about loading the paper. So we have a super white side and kind of like a cream or an off-white side. All right, now, I haven't worked with this printer yet, so it's going to be a toss-up, but typically speaking, you're going to put the bright white side face down. Now, we also have a few adjustments to make. So just like with any printer, let's see, that's going to be as far as it goes. But we want to slide out. Oh, we're going to press this down here. That's what that is. We're going to press that down, slide this out, insert our paper, and just make sure that everything is adjusted accordingly. All right, and then insert it back in. And then we have a little pull-out tray that's going to help catch our paper when it comes out after printing. All right, guys, so that was actually really quick compared to other printers that I have. And I know the colors don't look like very much right now, but I promise you that the muted colors are perfectly normal. And as far as I'm concerned, we have our
very successful first print. And look guys, the mirroring even worked. So it'll be up to you if you want to mirror in your software or let the print manager do it for you. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. So guys, we successfully set up our printer, and there's just a few more things for us to talk about. First and foremost, thanks for sticking that out with me, because I know that, with any time we're setting up a new printer, a new machine, there's always the possibility to have a few hiccups along the way. But guys, we did it. We absolutely did it. So there are definitely a few pats on the back for doing that. Now, remember, like I said, when we started getting into the software, you can call. There are resources that will help you set this up. You do not have to tackle it all on your own, all right? So just know that help is available. So if you happen to watch this video and you're like, you know what, Becky, that is just not in my wheelhouse, that's okay, all right? I promise you, nobody's gonna judge you. Also, friends that I've had that are printing from different software like Photoshop, okay? There is a difference, all right? There are color differences in printing in different types of software. Now, I don't print from Photoshop. The only other software I print from is Silhouette Studio. So I do not have, like I said, the color profiles and things like that, but I know that certain vendors do. So maybe by calling and, just asking some of that information, getting them to help you with the setup, there's nothing wrong with that. And they might even have a few tips to pass on to you, because they are definitely the professionals. Well, I love bringing you these videos. Like I said, I'm on this journey with you and we are doing this together. But guys, as a matter of fact, I am going to be in contact with my vendor just to make sure, that I did it right. But we have our very first successful print, right? And I call that a win. Now, I'm sure you guys have a lot more questions, especially with Creative Studio. I promise you that right on the heels of this video, I'm going to push out a full welcome to Creative Studio video for you. So if you have not checked that out already, it should be very, very soon to be published on the YouTube channel. Now remember, we have a lot of other software videos too. We have software videos for sublimation using Canva. We have videos using Silhouette Studio, and just a lot of really, I feel like a lot of really useful videos to help you get started on your sublimation journey. So any questions or comments you have, definitely comment down below, guys. I always love to help you. I love to, answer as many questions as I can. And if I don't know the answer, I will certainly find out for you. But guys, I am going to wrap it up for today. Also, a quick note, I don't believe I covered it in the beginning, but make sure you hang on to your boxes, all right? You do have a warranty with your printer. And if you ever have to file any type of warranty claim or anything like that, it is going to be very helpful for you to have this box to ship or printer if you need to. So, all right, guys, again, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, turn on those notifications so that you know when our new videos come out. And, if you haven't already, check out all of our other great sublimation tutorials. There's really a lot of great information out there for you. But, guys, thanks again for stopping by today. I appreciate it, and we'll see you again next time.